In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the key lessons I've learned from these philosophy books. These go deeper than a nice sounding quote and can be applied practically to your everyday life. Let's start with some Lego. Imagine you have two people building a house out of Lego. The first person doesn't look at the instructions, they just start putting pieces together and just wing it basically. And they might build in a sort of certain way, colours they like, and just how they kind of feel about it. Now, the second person assesses the situation. They gather information before building, they look at the instructions, they may have one way to think of building it, and then they see the instructions advising a different approach, and they follow it instead of fighting it. You probably end up with something closer to this, because the second person is using critical thinking, which is a core element of philosophy. They don't just jump in and don't dogmatically stick to their opinions about how to do it, they adjust their build the way logic dictates. Philosophy not only develops your critical thinking, but helps you realise how important it is in your own life. Philosophy can be comforting because it encourages rational thinking without the need to battle egos and emotions. No one ever wins a philosophy debate by talking over their opponent. Formal logic is a very mathematical part of philosophy, but I promise you that unlike finding the length of a hypotenuse, this can help you in your everyday life. Let me explain through ducks. Two of the key terms in logical philosophy are valid and sound. So let's take this example. We say that all ducks are yellow, Stuart's a duck, therefore Stuart is yellow. Now, that's actually a valid argument. It's valid in the sense that each statement actually logically follows the other. If all ducks are yellow and Stuart is a duck, then he must be yellow. That's what we would say is valid. Now, what you've probably already noticed is that not all these ducks are yellow. And this is where we think of that term sound. And what you would say is that that argument isn't a sound argument. The reason being that not all the statements are true. The first one isn't true. Not all ducks are yellow. So basically what you look at here is that valid is how the argument flows from one statement to another. Does it actually follow on from the other? And sound is whether or not all the statements are true. Once you grasp these concepts, you see how people manipulate these in everyday life. Commonly, people love to use true statements which don't follow on from one another. So for example, at work you might find a boss that cites a recent study where most people showed greater productivity in the office than working from home. Therefore he argues that you should all come back to the office. But whilst everything he said is true, in this case sound, it doesn't necessarily follow that would be the best result for you. It's not valid. Because just because most people work better in the office doesn't mean that works for you. Everyone's different. I really hope you're enjoying this video, and if you are, it would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe to help me grow the channel. And for everyone who does, I will release one of these ducks into the wild, and for everyone who doesn't, I'll kill two of them. One thing that the internet has given rise to is the sharing of one's opinion. If I put online, ducks are great, someone will reply, I hate ducks, and another will say, well, ducks are an illusion created by the deep state. When we all know that ducks are in fact great. But a growing trend is this urge to be a contrarian, which people understand as fighting against the established theories or positions. Being a contrarian the right way according to philosophy means questioning things with reason rather than simply disagreeing them to be difficult. It's about adopting a mindset of thoughtful skepticism and critical inquiry. Socrates argued against the government being a democracy, not to be difficult, but because he believed it was not the wisest way to run a society and would lead to people being told what they want to hear rather than what would be best for them. Of course, this doesn't really apply to the modern day world, does it now? Every day, this duck thinks about tomorrow and how he will gather food from the pond, what the weather will be like, and where the predators are likely to be. He worries about these things every night, even though he can't truly predict them, because they're out with his control. One of the most profound lessons of Stoicism is the principle of not worrying about things outside our control. The Stoic lesson teaches us to focus on our actions, reactions, and mindset, rather than getting consumed by external events we can't change. By accepting that some things are beyond our control, we can find inner peace and resilience. It's about recognising the power of our choices and maintaining our composure, no matter what life throws at us. This approach not only reduces unnecessary stress, but empowers us to take meaningful action where we can make a difference. Because one of the hardest things to do in life is not to worry about what you can't control, yet this has been shown time and again to be a vital foundation for a happy life. As Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality."